I'm suppressing banter in order to suppress awkward. That's
okay.
Okay, what do I want to say about this? You'll know. Thanks, Toby. Thank you. You'll know if this is for you. You'll know. Come up to me later and tell me, okay, if this is for you. A woman artist is someone who has come to terms with her own solitude. Out here on the big lake, she may encounter other lonely souls, but always finds herself retreating back through the arched tunnel into the quiet and rowdy cove of her mind. She will find God there, and earwax, and laundry, and summer and rot. The file cabinet in which she keeps these has a will of its own, rolls open in the middle of the night to reveal just hatched cuckoos, needy as the very drive that told her to pass on the pantyhose. A woman artist's best ally is another woman artist, someone with whom she can be vulnerable enough to ask, was it right? Did I do the right thing when I left him, aborted her, gave up on keeping safe as my mother? Another woman artist will know not to answer, for these questions are the creator herself, whose impulse resides in fissure. In other words, regret is fuel, is fear, and to be trusted, a woman artist trusts fear, for fear is more faithful than the dog next to whom she sleeps at night, the dog named Doubt, to whom her enemies have been feeding scraps under the table since before she was born. A woman artist's enemies are best kept close as dinner time, if only so she may predict from where the next sear will come. Quickly, she learns her forging is in the scalding, her strength bred from bad reviews and laughter. Let the crows come, she will say one day without terror, for crows are a raucous river against the night sky, and something that agitates is exactly what I meant to paint today. So go ahead, get agitated at what I wrote. Agitation is what I cash to pay for potatoes. Were I to have children, I would dress them in agitation and send them out to agitate for bringing back agitation in school. But I don't. So instead, I will merely remind us that it's possible to be female and not afraid of solitude or an empty nest. My nest is not empty. It's filled with a promise I made to myself as soon as I cleared the kitchen counter, that although I will always respect women whose primary purpose is to tend the brood, I just wasn't meant to be one of them. Rather, I was meant to serve by answering the call of an impulse so loud that I turned down anything anyone ever said was safe in order to heed it. I let the Juris Doctorate and the husband and the financial promise based on my aptitude roll by. I gave up my own genealogical line to spend more time with the loneliness in which I best hear God. If you are a girl who finds herself feeling odd on career days and at birthday parties, look down. You may have been granted a very rare pair of slippers that you can use to pace the path between your head and chest, until something remarkable flares out, something so potent we try to scare girls away from its edges. But I'll tell you what Virginia Woolf taught me. Not only does an artist have the right to her source, which is of course her solitude, but lurking just inside that cove is the birthright of every woman, the hallowed and singular state of her delicious originality. Woo! Woo! Okay, I'm trying to decide, Everett, if you're more poemy or performy. Poemy? Or both? Or
both. They are equal. They are. Yeah. And you have like 10 minutes still, so you could do some of both.
I have 10 minutes? Oh, Jesus Christ. You want me to depress the hell out of you?
Yes! You know, people keep saying they're going to depress me, but no one has.
My vaudeville?
Yeah, that's what I
What's the vaudeville? Which one?
It's like about performance.
Oh, the performance. Okay.
You're like a vaudeville actor, actually.
I'm a vaudeville actor? Oh, I love that. Okay. Okay, I'll do 4 more. One of them's really short. Is that true? Yeah. Okay, this is brand new and poemy. Somebody said poemy in the back, so here we go. And it's weird. It's super weird. I woke up one day after a nap when I've been dealing with this health stuff for the last couple of years, and back when I didn't have a diagnosis and was just, trying to die every 3 months, I just woke up from a nap with this rhythm in my head, so this is called Leaves Behind. And I want to give a trigger warning, okay? So take care of yourself around this if you need to. I'm trying to get my father out of my body. I'm trying to get my father out of my body. I'm trying to get my father out of my body. I'm trying to get. The thing about a mosquito is not the rupture, but what it leaves behind. When I think about how incest may have contributed to my disease, I think about what residue is left in a sheath. After the slaying, the knife stuffed back into contraptions still dirty, maybe wiped off on the grass first. But still, part of the new animal's blood freshening the kiss of its ancestor, now hanging from the hunter's waist, leather. We think it is a handy skin, something to hold water, whiskey, weapon. We forget it held a hope once. The orphanage where my father grew up made him sharp as a dentist, if the dentist were the sum of all his tools. Trying to peel an orange, if your fingers are dentist tools, must spill a lot of juice. What is the long-term effect of all that little orange girl all over the floor? They say it is possible to learn to sleep with your eyes open. I learned to sleep with my murder open, paused on the screen in front of me, my night brain imagining every possible escape. This is what I'll do if he comes from the side. This is what I'll do if he comes from behind. This is what I'll do if he doesn't come at all. Watch. If I were to name a single phrase to describe myself, it would be watchtower. I turned myself into a watchtower. My eyes slept while my spleen stayed alert. My muscles slept while my bones stayed alert. A hyperimmune disorder is something in which your body's system of defense has taken over, refuses to go off duty, doesn't remember how to go off duty, mad with all the watching. It starts to attack itself, first the blood, then the bones, then the organs. People with my disease die of not being able to go off watch. Sheath, knife, hide, watch, kick, watch, sex. Sheath, knife, hide, watch, kick, watch, sick. I'm trying to get my father out of my body. I'm trying to get my father, watch, out. Tell me, doctor, am I the sheath, the knife, the animal, or the hunt?
Wow.
Breathe. Thank you for going with me in that piece. This next poem is, if I had one thing I could say to the whole world, it would be this one. And it was a poem I wrote and then I ran to catch up with, because it was hard to live up to it. When peace comes, it will not be on the wing of a dove, but on a wave of 100,000 million foaming tongues. She will ride the dirty water of held-back vengeance, surf over centuries of violence that we have all called justice. But justice will have to leave his boots at her doorstep, take the latchkey from around his neck, and enter her house on his knees. What are you willing to give up for peace? Have you made any with your wolves? Have you forgiven your father? If you want the Palestinians and Israelis to stop, then have you sent a Christmas ham to the man who beat your mother? Distasteful, repugnant, he will nonetheless be among those huddled in the house of humanity when peace comes. To make her house our house, we may have to dig forks into our palms under tables heaped with ill-gotten bounty. I don't know if I'm willing. Which is to say, I don't know if I've readied myself for her residence in my heart. The list of those against whom I hold grudges grows as I breathe. As I breathe, I am an American, and therefore believe in heroes. Sink my claws into competition. I want to be the first one, over the finish line, photographed while tongue-kissing my enemy, if only to see my picture on the front page forever. I want to be that martyr, because for an American, what is furthest from monster? When I hold up my hands, I want the Pope to be able to eat from them while he congratulates me. What are my motives? In my best moments, I want my father, my rapist, to eat bountifully from his own hands. Don't I think I'm noble for this? But really, Could I welcome the idea of his orgasm? What would it take for me to want my father, to without shame to receive his God-given right to bodily pleasure? Who would I have to be that invested in peace? What am I made of? Girl times rape times the fists of lovers in my face equals the white dress of victimry. I have sold my vows to the ferry boat man so he could rush me to the bank emblazoned with not guilty. But really, what kind of horrible pain have I caused my father by telling the world my version of him? If you don't think this keeps me up at night, then maybe you think I don't have a heart. Maybe the queen stole it, replaced it with that of a swine. I used to think that the most horrible part is that I still love him, that I couldn't suck him out of my DNA. But maybe it's the most magnificence ever bestowed upon me by the mistress of peace. Maybe in her tattered gown she will escort me over her doorstep on the day I send my father flowers. Thank him for the beautiful scar out of which to carve myself. What am I willing to sacrifice? I will tell you my life. But what if what's required for us all to breach the doorstep of peace is to shuck the carapace of our grudges and then liquid all of humanity into a new, complicated, and carved out of our scars relationship to forgiveness?
Woo!
My life story in 24 words. Green shoot, raise, rape, strawberry wound, vodka, 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 pussy. Steeple. My life story in 12 words taken from the original 24. Oh, vodka, rape strawberry with tilted syllables. Shoot steeple, shoot mouth up. My life story in 6 words. Steeple, mouth, rape, strawberry, vodka, tilted. My life story in 3 words. Rape, strawberry, mouth. My life story in 1 word. Faced with choosing between rape and mouth, I choose strawberry. Okay, you people, are you still breathing or do I need to do something funny? You're still breathing? Are you? Okay, you're handling it, Everett? Okay, take care of yourselves. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm doing okay. I'm alive. Mostly. I wish I knew some jokes. I only know 1 joke. Here it is. Knock, knock. Interrupting cow. Moo! Thank you. You really are the only person. We get each other. We get it. We're on board.
Well, I knew the punchline before I came back.
Yeah, well, everyone does. That's the point. It's the only joke I can remember.
I don't get it.
You don't get it? The interrupting cow interrupts with moo.
Before you can finish.
Before you can finish the who's there. Or what, before you can finish, yeah, that's
Sometimes you really do have to explain.
I'm from the
Sometimes
city.
you do. Say that again?
I'm from the city.
You're from the city? Which city?
LA.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains everything.
The only cow he knows is the one that comes
No
wrapped in
offense
the
to
meat
LA.
department.
Tell us
All right.
another cow joke that we can.
Another cow joke? Oh, good God, I don't have one. I really don't. The only other joke I know is filthy, and it's about, yeah, I can't even talk about it.
Oh.
It was so horrifying to me, being, like this nerdy sort of sheltered girl until I turned into raving wild. I don't even want to talk about it.
Please tell us the dirty joke.
Anyway, it was horrifying to me, so I remembered it. I never forgot it. Okay. A couple things I want to say before I do my last poem, and that is thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Dwayne. When I say his name, I want you to freak the F out. Dwayne! The other thing I want to say is that after 2 years of being in bed, I'm now out of bed, and I reopened my new business, and that is reopened new business. That's contradictory, whatever. I started teaching again, and I opened a new business. I'm teaching classes, poetry classes, memoir classes, prose classes, etc., etc. If you want more information, please let me know. Please sign my mailing list. I have a book. It's pretty. Also, it's kind of velvety if you touch it. It has an interesting texture, doesn't it? It's kind of weird. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it so much. Okay. I'm a double Aries, so I can talk about myself all day. That's it. That's all I want to say. You will be standing in the market, sorting through avocados when the band Kansas. Do you people remember the band Kansas?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, when the band Kansas will come pumping through the ceiling and you'll think, Jesus, this song is going to outlive me. There are a few things that getting really sick illuminates. 1, dieting is ridiculous. The biggest gift you bring to any room is your heart. 2, you will ask anyone for money. Will get on your knees to beg your enemy for help because you know that way down under all that animosity is a deep and abiding love, for why else would she hate you with such loyalty? 3, things that used to taste bitter will suddenly turn to maple sugar in your mouth, what you wouldn't give for another year to grieve that man you thought you loved more than your own bone marrow. 4, suddenly everything will be so beautiful. The half-hearted sunset, the rotting leaves, the way a rind hugs a lime, your own age spots, what you wouldn't do to earn more of them. 5, yes, you will drink liquid seaweed. Hell, you'd stand on your head in a miniskirt in front of your ex's new girlfriend if you thought it would make a difference, but you won't. Not ever be the same again. That is neither good nor bad, it just is. And anyway, too much suffering is caused by trying to hold on to things. There goes your youth. There goes your lover. There goes your health, your wealth, your beauty, all of them useful when they were around, but there are other tools with which to cherish yourself now. 6, the first thing you give up is a means of comforting yourself with thoughts of suicide. You never know how much you want to live until you're told you might not. 7, the second thing you give up is pride. And as you do, the world will come rushing forward. It is fucking hard to ask for help, but if you don't, you will never know how much you matter, or that the only person who didn't love you enough is huddled inside your skin. 8, your skin is the biggest gift you were ever given. When the doctors first said I might die soon, what surprised me is that I didn't wish I'd written more poems, or even told people I loved them. If I love you, you know. What I wished is that I'd seen more of the world. Let its salt stick to me. I spent so much time living in my head and in my heart that I forgot to live in my body. Maybe that's why she's in trouble now. I've been obsessed with achieving immortality through poetry. But when I was told, in no uncertain terms, that this rickety container has an actual expiration date, I knew right then that immortality is bullshit. So I left that hospital with a horse's dose of right fucking now. We don't get to take anything with us, and whatever we leave behind is not 1 foot still in life. Because once we are dust, we are literally for the wind. So on my agenda, with whatever time I have left, is joy. Because number 9, anticipatory grief is absurd. When I'm dead, I won't be here to miss anything. And engaging in pre-missing seems like an indulgence. It's not that there isn't pleasure in weeping. Why else would we do it so much? But I've got oceans to float. I've got lava to peep. I got a balcony in the south of France upon which to slow dance with a lover whom I adore down to the spaces between her eyelashes. Poems will happen because they are how I process life, but I will no longer mistake them for living. If I had any advice to give my formerly non-sick self, or maybe you, it would be this. Eat the avocados. Love yourself down to the marrow and out past the rind. Make stalwart enemies out of good people who will hate you with their whole hearts. Make it mutual and unconditional, and this way you will never be alone with love. I don't want to be finite, but the fact that we are is what makes even the terror exquisite. So step out from behind your walls. Let the world come forward. Rise to meet it. Turn your precious attention towards God's most tangible gift, this physical world. And while you've got the chance, let your beloved skin salt in the wind.
Woo!